She, well, she and I were together since high school, so I remember her from very young. She had a lot of energy, which balanced off of me very well because I don't. She did want to go into party planning. She wanted to plan weddings because it made her so happy to see people in the happiest moments of their lives. My fiance, her name's Ben, but I call her Sammy. My fiance Sammy and I both worked at the law offices of Eric Shore, and we crossed Route 70 to go to lunch, and on the way back we crossed to the median. Traffic was stopped for as far as we could see, and one of the cars kind of waved us over. So we walked across the lanes, and then when we got to the shoulder, she was a step ahead of me, and a car drove down the shoulder and hit her, and she went a ways, and then she was out. Ambulance came and took her to the hospital with me.
Pedestrian safety is becoming a top priority in the state of New Jersey. The amount of car accidents involving pedestrians is staggering. Of the 563 people killed on New Jersey roads in 2014, 169 were pedestrians, a staggering 30% compared to the national average of 14%.
We have a very high frequency rate of pedestrians struck while crossing the road improperly in Cherry Hill, and oftentimes they have tragic fatal results.
In 2014, the New Jersey Bike and Walk Coalition reported that New Jersey has the second highest number of fatal cycling and auto pedestrian accidents in the entire country. Walking is a wonderful way of getting from place to place. It provides exercise and a clean mode of transportation. But if New Jersey is to become a safer place for pedestrians, it is the responsibility of both drivers and walkers to follow the rules of the road.
I think walking is certainly worth the while. We are a pedestrian and bicycle-friendly town. However, there are rules that are set up for the safety of pedestrians and bicyclists. The issue is that most people either aren't aware or don't follow them. So I would encourage people to walk as much as they can, which will reduce the volume of traffic like you see here out on Route 70. However, they need to do so responsibly and safely.
We didn't cross the street or the highway at the actual intersection at the light. Instead, we crossed midway. There was no traffic coming one direction, so we crossed over to the median, which was quite wide. It was wide enough for both of us. And even though traffic was stopped and we were waved over, it wasn't a pedestrian crossway. It was just in the middle of the highway. The vehicle was speeding up the shoulder. It was trying to pass all the other cars that were waiting. And then, obviously, after it hit Ben, it just kept going.
To avoid more tragedies like Ben and Michael's, motorists and pedestrians must adhere to the following rules. It is very important for motorists to give pedestrians the right-of-way at marked crosswalks. This means that the motorist must come to a complete stop when a pedestrian has even 1 foot in the crosswalk. Drivers must look for pedestrians when turning right on red. The motorist mustn't start to drive again until the pedestrian has reached the other side of the street. Failure to stop for pedestrians at marked crosswalks results in a $200 fine, a 2-point license penalty, 15 days of community service, and insurance surcharges.
When we run special details focusing on jaywalking and offenses like this where people are crossing a divided highway outside of crosswalks, the first thing we're asked is, why aren't you doing something more important? You've got to be kidding me. Are you really stopping me for this? So by and large, our experience is that most people either aren't aware or just don't care or think about the pedestrian safety laws in New Jersey.
Drivers must obey speed limits, for these limits are set based on the population of the area. When approaching a crosswalk, drivers must slow down and look for any pedestrians. It is very important that drivers look for pedestrians at intersections. Motorists must be alert at all times. Distracted driving is a large factor in accidents involving pedestrians. When parking, it is illegal for drivers to park on a crosswalk.
I'm sure none of the pedestrians that were ever struck in our town ran across the road thinking that they would be hit by a car or that was an irresponsible thing to do. However, in retrospect, looking back, most of our pedestrians are struck within eyesight of a crosswalk or a place to suitably cross a road, such as a traffic signal or a marked intersection.
A pedestrian can cross at other locations if a crosswalk is not marked, but in these locations, pedestrians must yield the right-of-way to cars. Failure to do so is called jaywalking and carries a $54 fine. Even though it is the law for motorists to stop for pedestrians at crosswalks, pedestrians mustn't assume that cars will stop for them. In order to make sure it is safe to cross, pedestrians must follow the walking signals. When the signal displays the walk sign, pedestrians must look left, right, and left again before any approaching or turning cars. Pedestrians must make eye contact with any approaching drivers. Pedestrians must walk on the sidewalk when one is available. Just as it is important for drivers to remain undistracted, it is also important for pedestrians to be alert. Talking on a cell phone or wearing headphones is very dangerous when crossing the road. It removes attention away from any possible danger. Walking impaired will increase your chances of being struck, so it is much safer to walk while sober. If walking at night, pedestrians should wear reflective clothing in order to make themselves visible to cars. Children, especially small children, are often hard for drivers to see due to their size. It is very important for parents to teach their kids about pedestrian safety.
The rules for bicyclists are the exact same as those for motorists on a road. Most bicyclists feel that they follow the same rules as pedestrians, when in fact they actually have to follow the same rules of the road and have the same privileges and duties as drivers of cars, which means that when crossing at an intersection, a bicyclist should wait for the green signal just like a car would. They should not ride their bike in a crosswalk. Crosswalks are for pedestrians. If they're going to use the crosswalk, they should walk the bicycle across the crosswalk. And they must ride with the flow of traffic, not against the flow of traffic, as is the case for pedestrians.
As required by law, bicyclists must also use a horn or bell and use lights at night. If the bicyclist is under 17 years of age, he or she must also wear a helmet.
I mean, Ben and I were just coming home or coming back to work from lunch. It's the most innocuous, unthinking thing that all of us do every day. And now every time I cross the street, I have flashbacks. I mean, I fell into a huge depression for many years. And her family's just been completely wrecked. It changed both of our families. It changed the driver's life forever, all just for a split-second decision on all of our parts. I don't think myself or Ben or the driver ever imagined that we'd be in this situation. All of us were just going about our day, and all of us made a mistake. All that just to walk at a crosswalk or to not speed up a shoulder. It's not worth it.